Now, with that, I am so happy to welcome our very first guest tonight. She's running to be the next mayor of Phoenix. She's a problem solver, she's a change maker, and she is the right person to turn around the corruption and failures that have occurred under the current Democrat mayor and previous Democrat mayors. So please welcome Merissa Hamilton to tonight's Republican Nominee Spotlight Live event. Merissa, it's so good to see you. Welcome. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much for having me on tonight.
Hey, Merissa, it is great to see you. You ran a tremendous campaign to earn signatures to get on the ballot. Now, is it true you actually received more signatures from Phoenix voters than the incumbent Democrat mayor? I call her Queen Kate. Queen Kate Gallego. Is it true?
Yes, that's absolutely true. We had an enormous volunteer effort, and we were able, in half the amount of time as the other candidates were allotted, to get double the number of required signatures, which was 1,500, plus another 500 more than my opponent. So we had an incredible turnout, and we've been able to keep that momentum all the way through.
Oh, that is awesome. And so tell the voters out here why Phoenix voters are so enthusiastic to get you into office and why they are ready for a change.
Well, I think it really starts from March 17th, the day that the mayor decided to shut down our entire economy with a tweet from her cell phone on a pink background. And when that event happened, we had only a few hours notice to our restaurants. They had already stocked up their food for a very special event, and they ended up having to toss most of that food. Our restaurant industry represents about 50% of our food supply in Phoenix. And so that is exactly why after that you saw our grocery store shelves go empty for weeks on end. And from there, we then had the riots. Kate was very compliant with the riots. She said that they just needed to be heard and that she made the decision that she would not escalate our police forces to stop the riots. A month later, then in July, she then co-signed onto a letter with the other radical progressive mayors around the country, calling this violence that we were seeing around the country the new civil rights movement, which is absolutely deplorable. It was irresponsible and dangerous. She went on then to do a summer break during a pandemic and spent that time on national TV lying about the situation of COVID while we were working hard to make sure that our numbers were coming down, and we've been the most successful state in that arena. She went on TV saying that we had dead bodies piling up and that we needed to have more refrigerated morgue trucks come in, which was not true. Our hospitals pushed back. She said that our hospital systems were sending people home to die because they ran out of beds. And she also said that the Trump administration had done nothing for testing. Meanwhile, she was sitting on $293 million, where she only spent 0.34% of that on testing. So it has been an atrocious few months. We're now coming into finding what the consequences have been of her isolation policies, how that's impacted aggravated assaults by an increase of 25%, an increase of domestic violence homicides by 180%.
Wow.
Suicides, it's been awful.
Yes. Yeah. Well, okay. So you're running to serve the city of Phoenix, and you mentioned the violence and the chaos that's been happening in Phoenix and in cities across the country right now. So obviously, the current mayor has handled this in a pathetic manner. So talk to the listeners and the viewers about how you'd handle things differently to restore law and order and create a safe environment for every Phoenician, and let the voters out there know about the very special endorsement that you got I think just today.
Thank you so much for that. So we knew that we were going to have riots here in Phoenix days before they happened. It was at that point that our mayor should have brought our community together, brought our leadership together, brought our community of faith and our police chief and our police department together to say that this is not Phoenix. Police brutality is not tolerated in Phoenix, and that we are working hard to make sure that we are able to keep our streets safe, and that is our mission, is to make Phoenix safe. It should have been a unifying event rather than silence to allow violence and chaos to destroy our downtown and then spread to Scottsdale. We have the best police department in the nation. I've graduated from both the Phoenix Civilian and the FBI Civilian Academies, and our FBI actually takes their direction from the city of Phoenix to train police forces around the nation. If those riots needed to be stopped that night, they could have been stopped. It was purely out of a decision and a choice that they were not stopped and allowed to continue.
And so is that why you got the endorsement that you got? Do you think that you back the blue and that you support law and order? What was the endorsement?
I am the first Republican Phoenix mayoral candidate in 20 years to receive the Arizona Police Association endorsement. This is a huge honor and a huge responsibility. I am also a survivor of violence, and I have advocated for victims of violence for many years. And so the police know that they have my support. They know with me as mayor that violence will not be tolerated, and also their efforts will not be undermined. I also chair the Arizona Legislature Subcommittee on Policing, and I've worked with our Phoenix Police, our Tucson, Tempe, and Goodyear police departments to create an incredible program called Police Deflection, where when you have a nonviolent victimless crime that's been committed by someone that's experiencing homelessness, mental health, or substance abuse, that they are able to partner with community organizations so that there is accountability and these folks can be directed at their own choice voluntarily to get the help that they need and get off the street. It's been extremely successful. In Tucson, they've already been able to deflect over 1,500 people. When I brought that to the mayor's office, her office declined to pursue that program. So it's been very disappointing. The resources that our police need, they're not getting. In fact, our child sex trafficking unit has had their numbers diminished as far as the number of officers supporting that effort. So while we've had the biggest crisis for children during this pandemic, our police have had their resources decreased, and that's not acceptable.
Well, thank you, Merissa. You are exactly right. I think you're exactly right for the city of Phoenix. It's time for a reawakening, a resurgence, a reorganization of the city of Phoenix, and I think it's going to take a Republican to lead that. The Democrats have failed, their policies have failed, their leadership styles have failed, and it's left our citizens, basically vulnerable to people that should be protected by their government and by their police force. So I'm gonna sign off with you, Merissa, because we're gonna go to our next person. But thank you. And if people want to find out, tell real quick what's your website so people can go find out about you and can contribute to your efforts financially to help you get into office.
Sure. My website is at hamiltonformayor.com, and we are running for mayor to make Phoenix safe and protect our small businesses.
Thanks so much, Merissa. It's great to have you, and keep up the hard work. Keep working for the people of Phoenix and the people of Arizona.